Good afternoon and welcome to another video. As you can see over my shoulder, I am down the canal. This is the Grand Union. I've come out a little bit further afield than normal to have a go up here. It's usually a good spot for some silvers. And there's you can probably see there, I've got my gear set up. We're in this sort of wider section of canal because it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. And there's going to be some boats moving. And obviously if we're fishing the main canal, we're going to have to keep reeling in and rebaiting as they go past and wash our bait away because it's only about 4 foot deep out there. But what we can do is fish the near side and leave the boats to the far side, and fingers crossed we can have a few silvers out. As I say, it's been a great stretch in the past. We've had all sorts of everything from here, from roach, rudd, hybrids, tench, zander and pike, although I'm not doing any predator fishing today. What I am going to do is fish the Waggler, hopefully. That's my plan anyway. I bought Waggler rod. I was a bit concerned about the wind. It's been very windy the last couple of days, and it's due to be very windy the next couple of days. Today it was a bit more still. I didn't know the wind would be blowing up the canal, so I've actually bought a ledger rod with me as well, which I might drop in as well and drop it perhaps just in the edge on a different spot. We'll just suck it and see. Baits I've got with me today, I've got some mash bread with some dynamite frenzied hemp ground bait mixed in with it. I've got some bread and some maggots, and that is it. Right, that's probably enough waffle. We'll finish getting set up. I'll quickly show you the gear and then we'll crack on. Right, gear-wise, I've got my Dower Matchman pellet waggler rod. May sound a bit heavy being a pellet waggler rod, but it's rated from 3 to 8 pound line, so it should be absolutely fine. Got a Dower 125M closed face reel on there. This is the one supplied by Artisan Angling. And on the business end, I have got a Drake, I think it's Canal Waggler, it's called. Canal Dart, perhaps, I'm not sure. Something like that anyway. Now, as I say, we might have a bit of trouble, certainly for a bit, with the amount of boats that are moving. The boat's just gone through, literally as we speak. I've only been near the canal for perhaps 10 minutes and 3 boats go past me. So there's clearly quite a few moving. We'll shot this up properly and then we'll get cracking. I've thrown just a little bit of mash bread, ground bait in, just to kick things off, and perhaps 50 maggots. Now, I bought keeping that with me today because putting these fish straight back is going to be a bad move. We're going to spook everything. So we'll stick the fish in a keep net, assuming we catch some. I'm hoping we will. It's quite mild today actually, although I have just walked about a third of a mile, so carrying a load of gear, so that would kind of explain it, why I'm a bit warm. Right, let's try that, shall we? We'll see how we get on. I'm just not going to put too much bait in for now. We'll just suck it and see what happens. Our float's sitting up a little bit. May need to shot that down a bit more. But hopefully we can catch some, as I say, some nice bream, perhaps some hybrids. Oh, there we go, look. I'll bite straight away. What's this? Looks like one of the lovely rudd that live in this stretch. Very pale looking. Or is it a roach? No, it's a roach. Well, that's about that. First cast. Absolutely wonderful. Certainly can't moan about that. There we are. Wonderful. Well, that is a fairly unexpected start. But I'm certainly not complaining. That's the bite. Ooh, nearly. Yeah, I need to shot this float down. That's lifted right out of the water. Yeah. Definitely need to shot this down. Well, there's some roach. Very happy with that. Well, if this keeps up, I don't think we'll be moving. This is cracking. I've just put a couple of golf ball sized balls of ground bait in. There we are. This is something a bit bigger. this? Skimmer. Lift him just about. Made a mess of that. This is cracking. Bite a chuck. Is it a skimmer or is it a silver bream? I think it's a silver bream. The size of that eye, that's a silver bream. Fantastic. It's quite pale. Unfortunately now I've overshotted this float. Let's take this number 4 off and put number 8 on. Number 6 on. I actually see a number 8. Yeah, I just have to go just that little bit further. I'm getting bite pretty quickly when I do that. That's a silver bream. I think. They're quite pale, which is what's throwing me a bit, but they've got a huge eye. I think it's silver bream. If you want to target something a bit bigger, we'll perhaps go on bread. I'm also thinking about just dropping my ledger rod into the edge here with a lump of bread flake on, just see if we can't pick off a bonus fish. Perhaps drop that out in a minute. Doesn't look like we'll need to fish out there with it. The wind is not too bad at all. Certainly cope with this. Right, I think what I'm going to do is we're having bites on maggots. Well, I think what I'm going to do is set up the ledger rod, because we bought it anyway. I'm not going to need it, I don't think, as a sort of number 1 rod. This is perfectly fine. This is working fine. I think what I might do is set it up and just fish a bit of bread flake out there in a tiny little feeder, and that way we can put some more bread out on the bottom as well. And we'll be sort of feeding the swim that way and use it as a bit of a sleeper rod, but we'll fish the same sort of area. It's got my standard running ledger rig on here, which I use on the rivers. I'll link you in up there if you want to see how I tie this up. So just a tiny little feeder. It's just Preston plug it feeder. We'll put a bit of mash in there. Right, as I say, we'll just drop that out there. Just to the left of the spot. Drop that there. Tip up in the air so we can see exactly what's going on. Right, we're about to clutch off. In case we have a screamer. So, I think that'll do us nicely as a little sleeper rod. Have to go a little bit careful with the feed, I think. It's still not warm, the water. I think we're in double figures, but only just about. So I'm not going crazy. As I say, we can always go for a wander if we fancy it. A few spots further down on the main canal, which is sometimes good, near some reeds and stuff. But it's a bit difficult to fish there with got distracted by a bite. It's a bit tricky fishing there with the boats going through. We'll perhaps decamp down there if it goes slow here. Yeah, they're definitely in that slightly deeper water. Just a little bit further out. I can lift him just about. Not sure quite what to make of this at the moment. It's sort of okay and sort of not. The canal towing is not helping at all. It's proper pushing through at the moment. There's a lot of boats moving. I don't really think it helps with this sort of fishing. A bite, bottom. Hello. Don't eat me bread. After me maggots, I think. Still a little bit early really for this stretch to be really on it. Had some cracking catches in the past, but more sort of summer species, rudd, tench. As I say, we'll give it a bit longer before we even think about a move. I think we've sort of got the spot going a bit. So that's just gone under. I was going to say, is it a fish or is it the bottom? We're getting some bites. We're having to work at them, but we're getting some bites. Should have known. Little fat perch. They're clearly not spawned. I'd say we're getting bites, but it's not at all prolific. But I think if the boats, or as and when the boats stop, which they will, things will settle. We'll be able to get a bit more feed in that one area rather than spreading it all around, because no matter how slowly the boats go past, there's still a bit of wash and it just washes your little area of feed away. Be good to use the pole here. I'm not a great fan of pole fishing at all, but it's cracking for this, just holding that float in place. But to be honest, I couldn't bother to carry all the gubbins today. Rollers and rigs and top sections and the pole itself. I was just like, I can't be bothered. Just take a float. Float rod. And that's your lot. Little tube with some spare floats in and some hook links. And that's all you need really. Well, I had a bite for about 10 minutes, so when I got one, it caught me by surprise. It's very, very patchy. I get a bite or two, and then it stops for perhaps 10 minutes, and then get another bite or two, and it stops. Just reclining a bit then. What's this? Looks a bit hybridy, it's going a bit crazy. Or is it just a roach? I say just a roach, I don't mean just a roach. It looks like a roach. I think it's just a roach. Well, we're putting a few fish together. I say it's not going crazy at all. And this wind is a real pain. This is exactly why I bought this ultralight with me. I thought it might be like this. Well, this canal is still towing. I say it has to be expected really, but I think I'll just give it this cast. It's kind of not necessarily a bad thing, because you are sort of running it through and it's sort of searching the water a little bit. But I'm wondering if we could do better if we could just get one spot going. So I'm going to get this ultralight on the case shortly. We'll just have 20 minutes just on maggots on that, just in one spot, getting the bait really accurately in one spot, and see if we can get something going. And if that doesn't work, I think we're probably going to have a move then. Perhaps move it a bit along the canal a little bit. I'd prefer to fish the float. I think it's sort of time now where the boat traffic is going to die off. Certainly the canal doesn't seem to be moving as much as it was. Once the wind dies off, it's cracking. But even so, the canal's not towing and there's only a gentle breeze, but the float's still moved about 2 foot to the right on this cast so far from where I'd ideally want it to be. Perhaps we'll have a little bit longer whilst things have gone steady. The thing is, why I'm keen to get the bait in one place, why I'm keen to sort of get one spot going, is because the canal is pretty coloured. It's probably, I don't know, maybe that much visibility, something like that. Not a lot at all. So it's not like we can, be firing maggots in and fishing on the drop, and they're just not going to see them. Right, so what we can do on this. Cut the maggots, size 18. A bit of mashed bread in the feeder. We'll give this 20 minutes before we think about a move, I think. It's perfect. Right. Always on the tip. There we go. Well, that was quicker, wasn't it? Not sure what it is. It's going crazy. Hybrid, it might be. Yes, it is. Thought it would be going absolutely crazy like that. Well, look at that first cast. Shows you, doesn't it? Just keeping that bait in one spot. Well, he's no monster, but he's a nice fish. Certainly a hybrid. Hybrid, I mean roach bream hybrid. Cracking. Beautiful. In you go, chap. Well, perhaps this is the way to go. That was a proper bite. Much prefer to be catching them on the float, but as I say, it's just proving pretty impossible at the moment. Just can't keep the float in the area for long enough. I suppose I could perhaps use the lift method to anchor it down, but I'd have to have a big change up with the float gear, fish a lot heavier to get it to anchor, I think. I don't think I've run you through this, have I? This is my Adrenaline Ultralight. Just got it set at 9 foot. You can set it at 9 or 10 foot. Just got it set at 9 foot. I've got a Dower Ninja LT 2000 reel on. I'll stick all the information, all the gear I'm using down in the description below. I think as we go into the evening, things will settle down. The canal will stop pulling around and the locks stop being worked. The wind should drop a little bit as well. I mean, as you can see, it's dropped for a minute now, but I can guarantee you as soon as I grab the float, it'll start again. Well, it certainly proved to me doing this that there's some fish here. We've had a few knocks and a few rattles and a few fish doing this. And I was really struggling on the Waggler. Purely, like I say, because it wasn't staying in the right area. I think what we'll do, we'll have another go in a minute. The canal's sort of stopped towing. The wind's dropped a bit. We'll perhaps lay on the bottom a little bit more. See if that will hold the Waggler in place. Still cut the 3 inches of line on the bottom. Certainly helping just putting that in the same place every single time. Not that I'm the best caster in the world, but I'm managing it. Just a little swing out, it's a nice comfortable distance. Just got a nice reflection in the water, the V of those trees over there. I've got a nice reflection of it in the water and just casting right to the point of that V. Well, it's gone a bit quiet on the old tip as well. I'm starting to contemplate a move. I think it's probably safe, relatively safe now, to move on to the main canal. We haven't had a boat go past for, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour. You sort of know when there's fish in your swim when you're on the canal. You just get liners and little taps, and the float will dip a little bit, or the quiver tip will knock a little bit. Like before, we had that nice hybrid. It was tapping away, just pulling and pulling where they're just sort of knocking the line. There's just nothing happening at the moment. Right, this is very quiet here. I think I'm going to have a move. I'm going to move up there by the reeds. There's some reeds up there. Canal is still pulling through a little bit, but it's gone very, very quiet here. Oh, blimey, it made me jump. Massive bumblebee. Yeah, it's gone very quiet. It went quiet on the quiver tip, and I've had, I think, one bite on the float. I've probably been at it about 10 minutes. No, that's it. There's nothing doing here. We need to move. Let's go and find some fish, or try and find some anyway. Right, here we are. So the plan is, I'm going to put this feeder rod out, sort of somewhere in the middle of the track. We'll pick a spot just out here somewhere, identifiable spot. Perhaps the far side of the track might be a better idea. By the track I mean sort of the boating channel. Or perhaps put it over there. Yeah, that's a nice spot. Again, I'll just pick a reflection. It'll be easy to see. See if we can build a bit of a spot out there. We might pick up a bonus bream or nice hybrid or something. We'll go on maggots on that for now. And we know that the bait's going to be on. We've got to keep reeling in. With hindsight, perhaps should have bought something like sweet corn, or perhaps even some mini boilies or just something. Did grab the worms actually. Worms would have been a good bait to bring. However, they were all a bit manky and a bit old and a bit rubbish, so I left them at home. Get it just out there somewhere. Perfect. Donk. Right, we'll get that over there. Right, and then we're going to fish just along the edge here. Perhaps just over this way, perhaps just down here with the float. If we start getting some bites out there, we can always move the float rod over there as well. As I say, that the canal is towing again now, so knowing my luck, there'll be a boat come through in a minute. Oh, hello. Hello. You don't want to eat the maggots?
Thanks very much. See you later. Bye. All right, pal.
All right. Well, there we go. I didn't even see that bite because I wasn't paying any attention, but there's a boat just coming, as suspected. As soon as I changed spots, I mean, this canal suddenly started to tow. Same old, same old. I don't think we're going to wet the keep net for him. Oh dear. Pike's just gone. Pike's just gone nuts down there. Perhaps we should have bought the pike gear. We're not actually far from the car. I have got the pike gear, but I haven't got any bait. Fish. Cracking. There's a little roach. First of many, hopefully. Rudd. Cracking. Well, we're catching a few fish down here by the reeds. Well, we get some tappy bites on there. I missed it, but we had a bite. Well, it looks like we found a few fish. Oh, we're certainly catching a few fish here. Oh, that was a much better fish. I think it was a really nice rudd. Oh, it's tangled me all up. That was a really nice rudd. I just saw a bit of gold. Ah, that's very frustrating. It's even more frustrating because he's put me in a big knot. Well, that's a nice rudd. It's nowhere near as nice as the one we just bumped off. But that's a nice rudd. Wow, this is very, very enjoyable. That was a better fish as well. Oh, I don't believe this. Well, this is very frustrating. I bumped a couple of really nice fish now. I felt it anyway. Straight off the bat. There we go. Just saw that at the corner of my eye. Blimey. Got to be a hybrid. Is it just a bream? Just a bream, perhaps. It is a bream. Well, we're having a few fish now, aren't we? Cracking. That's wonderful. Just as the rain starts again. Well, how's about that? Cracking. It's been in the walls by the looks of it. That's wonderful. Lovely stuff. All right, got a bite on the float rod now. Oh, it's a rudd. Beautiful. Well, this is cracking. We're certainly having a few fish now. Well, you just unhook that bream. Right, I'll get myself sorted out now. It's just about 6 o'clock. So we've got perhaps an hour and a half left. This is very, very enjoyable. There does seem to be some predator activity around here as well. I think I'm going to try and get out in the next day or two and come back after the predators here, because definitely looks like there's some activity. This shows you, doesn't it? We were struggling where we were. We've had a move. And after about half an hour, it's kicking off. Time of day might help as well, of course. Apologies for the squeaky chair. Oh, it's gone quiet again, and the canal started towing again. That was a pull. And I've been mugged. Well, we're definitely getting more action on the on the ledger now than the float. The float's just run all the way through here. Tip's rattling away. It is very sensitive though, it's only 1 ounce tip. There you go, look. With a bang. Could perhaps hit some of these bites if I had it on my knee, but obviously that would mean stopping the float fishing. But as I say, it's since the canal started moving again, the float fishing's just gone completely to pot. Just not had a bite. Doesn't seem to be affecting the ledgering though. Alright. I think that's, oh my goodness. I was going to say I think that's on. Clearly not. Oh my goodness me. How it was not on, I don't know. Maggots crawled over the point of the hook. That'll be how. Yeah, as I say, that spot's starting to rock out there now. But it may be the time of day as well, like I say. It's getting to that time. It's about 6:30 now, just gone. Let's see if we get any more interest on that. Alright, was that a bite on the float? It's moving very, very fast, so it's hard to tell. It might just be bumping across the bottom. It's very tempting to just stand up and run this float down the edge of these reeds. But like I said, I don't think we've really got the clarity to do that. You need a certain amount of visibility, obviously, if the fish are going to try and catch feed that you're sending their way. Like if you're trotting on the river, I would never trot on the river with the river, if the river was this coloured. I think I might put this float away for 10 or 15 minutes, concentrate on that ledger. Just plop a tank in it through now. What time is it? 6:45. There's still people charging about in their boats. There we go. What's this? Very jaggy. Jaggy little fight. Oh, it's a... I'm going to net him. I think it's another silver bream. Seems to be a lot of these around here. Probably the biggest one of the day, I would think. Not big by any means, but they don't get particularly big. He's a reasonable fish. It's really not very nice. Sat here at the moment. Hopefully it'll blow over. We'll give it 10 minutes to blow over. Horrible drizzle. But looks like the canal stopped towing. It was going so fast I had to stop float fishing. I was basically trotting. Oh, it's got a bit squally now. Well, I think I'm probably going to call it a day. It's gone very quiet. The ledger rod has stopped getting the knocks and taps and rattles, and this float rod hasn't done a bite for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. A boat went through about, I don't know, half an hour ago, and I think it's barely done a bite since that. Canal stopped towing again, which is nice, but yeah, there's just nothing doing at all. I've tried maggots and bread. Got different coloured maggots, and I've been all through the rainbow. Nothing doing. Don't know, it just seems to have switched off. It's a bit weird. There's a bit of a front coming over. It's getting a bit dark. I think it's going to rain before too long. And if that's anything to do with it, maybe. I'm not sure, but it really, really seems to have switched off. It's a little bit surprising. You think with a front coming over, it would spark things into life, but it seems to be the opposite way around. Like I say, I haven't had a bite on this float rod for absolutely ages. So I think with that, we'll call time. That's been very enjoyable. First session up here for quite a while. Well, since last slow season. This stretch will certainly wake up in the coming weeks as the water warms up. And we can get up here and hopefully have some of the tench out that are up here and some of the rudd as well. Just some big old rudd and some, as I say, some big silver bream up here as well, all sorts of everything. Now I'm going to get out again, do some predator fishing I think before too long, probably later on in the week. Do a couple of rainy days and then perhaps later on in the week we'll do some predator fishing. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, something a bit different. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your wonderful support and I'll see you again very soon.